Sherrie.
Hi, Robin. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. So tell me who you are and what you do, Robin.
Well, I'm Robin Willis with eXp Realty. I'm an associate broker there, and I've been in real estate for 15 years now.
Wow,
And
that's great.
yeah, been employed as a realtor full time since 2005.
Wow, that's great. Long time. And I've been doing mortgage loans for 37 years. I actually started out in about 1981, which is kind of telling my age a little bit, but we won't,
I was
hopefully
really
we
young
won't go
then.
there. And, I love what I do. I have a passion for helping people own their own homes, and this is what I love. I do all kinds of mortgage loans, FHA, VA, conventional, USDA,
Yeah.
jumbos.
You have done really great work for my clients with VA. They've always been really happy. And also my first time home buyers that need like down payment assistance, I always tell them to call you because you know what programs are out there and they seem to change like on a daily
Oh, that's
basis.
great. That's great. Yes, keeping up with that is a full-time job, but it's really worth it. And there's nothing more rewarding than to help someone own their first home, for sure.
Yeah. So let's say that somebody comes to you and they get pre-qualified for a loan, as they should to start out, but they don't have a realtor. Like, how do you decide who you're going to send them to? What are you looking for?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, Robin, because I really care about my buyers and I want them to be in really good hands with someone who really cares as well. And so when I look to refer them to someone, I look for someone who has experience and knowledge and someone who really cares about what they're doing. They're not just a transaction.
Right.
They're a client for life and they treat them like their family, and that's who you are. That's what you do.
Well, as you know, I've referred a lot of people to you over the years too.
True.
And so for me, one of the most important things that I look for is a lender that's going to tell them the truth. So I need to know if I get a pre-qualification form and I'm presenting an offer on behalf of this client, that they really are going to be able to close the transaction.
Right.
And not I've had people come that are already pre-qualified with other lenders, and it hasn't always gone well. In fact, you've saved a few for me, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So for me, that's number one. Somebody who's knowledgeable and who's willing to do the work. I think one of the most frustrating things is that some lenders want an easy buyer, and it's always really great when the documents are perfect and easy. We all love that, but
Right.
that's not everybody's reality.
Right.
And I work with a lot of people who are investors or who are they have they're 1099. They're not really employees. They own their own company. There's so many different
That's
things
right.
that happen to people, and not everybody has a W-2
That's
and
right.
perfect tax returns.
Everybody who lives on the internet will oftentimes shop and they don't know what they're getting because every single loan out there is different. It's all based on your personal profile, your income, your FICO scores, your loan to value, whether or not you're buying the house as your primary residence, your secondary home, or investment property. So the rate is not like it used to be. It's not like one rate fits all. They're all different. So when you go to a lender that's experienced and knowledgeable, they'll give you an overview of what your options are. And the best thing they can do is educate you. And that's something that I take a great deal of pride in, because you'll hear one person will go with an FHA loan, one person will go with a conventional loan. Why? What are the differences? Why were you recommended FHA over conventional? That's what a good lender does. A good lender explains to you the differences and how the qualifying is different. Reserves, cash in the bank, credit scores, they're all different for the different types of loans. So you need someone who isn't just going to say, okay, 10-minute pre-qual and you're done and out the door and you know nothing. No, that's not the way we work. We want to make sure that you're very confident, understand what's happening, and that you've been given options. So.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that I've really appreciated that you've done for some of my clients is that if there's different ways that they could maybe do the loan, you've offered unique and strategic ideas that other lenders maybe have not. And
Right.
sometimes that's the difference between them either getting a house or not, or getting a really good rate or not.
That's true.
You know, and this applies not just to people that are in a first time position. This actually applies a lot to people who have equity in homes or assets that they can access.
Right.
There's different ways to formulate a loan or do the whole financial picture for this transaction that I think that's just an extra piece that I really haven't seen other lenders provide to clients.
Yeah, that's great. And I really feel it's important for every single customer to understand every aspect so that when you go to the closing table, you're not scared. You're signing those papers and you're going to go get your keys, right, Robin?
That's right. That's the good day
Absolutely.
that we all live for and work hard for.
That's right. So once they get their loan all set up, what happens next with you, Robin?
So next we start to look for homes, and that's actually the really fun part.
Yes.
So I always put all of my clients on alerts. So I create a search or two depending on what their needs are. It goes by the area of town. One of the important parts is that we already know what they're qualified for. So that tells me how high to look or not look, because there's nothing worse than falling in love with a house and then finding out that you're $25,000 short and you will never get a house that nice, and then everything else looks like junk.
It looks bad, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are really beautiful homes in every price point.
Yes.
But we want to search that price point, and it also gives the buyer the confidence that if they find that perfect house, they can write a check.
That's right.
It could be theirs. We just have to make the offer.
Right.
And so, you know, having that pre-qualification makes my clients a lot more confident. So then, you know, we go through that process. We go under contract, and there's a whole lot of other things that I do for them. But
Exactly.
I think that one of the things that's important that not many people realize is how important a buyer's agent is. You know, in Tucson, the price of the buyer's agent is wrapped into the price of the home. So that means as a buyer, you typically don't have anything out of pocket, which makes it feel free, which in some ways you could say it's free.
It is,
But
sort
you're
of,
really
yeah.
paying for it in the price of the home. And
Right.
it's usually several $1,000s depending on, you know, the value of the home that you're buying.
But they're not going to come out of pocket with it at closing
They're
or
not.
nothing like that.
But so that's a good part, but the bad part is that it really makes people feel like they're not paying for it. And I feel that sometimes people don't demand of their agents quality representation on the buyer side. And I think that's a travesty because there's a huge difference in an agent that just is opening doors for you
Right.
or looking for houses for you, and an agent that's actually going to negotiate for you, that's going to advocate fully, that's going to make sure that your needs are first and foremost in this transaction.
Right. And so what's the market like out there right now when you're trying to buy a house? Let's say you're a first-time home buyer in the 200 price range.
Well, 200 isn't bad. When you get lower, when you're under 150, it's really a rat race right now. But I would say, you know, so we're recording this at the beginning of 2020. And I would say that it's good for buyers, but at the same time, you really need to have all your ducks in a row. And the reason for that is that the good houses go really fast. Now, fortunately, Sherrie, most of the people that I'm sending homes to are also on Zillow, so they cannot resist, right?
Right.
Which I understand. But they notice that homes are going very quickly.
Right.
So they're aware of this, and so it's not something I'm not saying this to try to get you to buy faster. I'm saying it because I'm trying to advocate for you, and I don't want you to miss
be
your dream
prepared.
house. Yeah.
Because if you're not ready and you know someone else comes in with a stronger pre-qualification letter, which is required to accompany the offer in the state of Arizona, they're going to lose out.
Right, and I think that one thing that's important for buyers to know is that a stronger pre-qualification means that you have delivered all of your documents to the lender. And every single one that they ask for, nothing is superfluous. So, you know, I have a pre-qualification where you have to check the boxes and say what they've provided. So if you just say, well, I had a conversation with them and you don't have documents, and they're competing against someone who's presented their documents,
Yep.
it's unlikely that my buyer will get the offer at that point because they haven't done their homework.
Right.
So that's super important. And I think one thing that I like to do or ask you to do with them when we have time is to actually put them through a pre-approval process.
Right.
Do you want to explain that a little bit?
Well, there's a couple things that we can do. We have a pre-qualification, which is oftentimes, a lot of times you'll talk to a lender and it'll be, just a few minutes on the phone. And we need to get your income and your assets so we know you have cash for closing. We need to know that you make enough money so that you can support the payment based on your other monthly payments as well. We call that a debt to income ratio. And we also look at your credit. We have to pull up a credit report and determine if you're going to fit into certain guidelines based on the different loans available. We should have a conversation with you and explain to you which one is best, why I recommend one over the other. And then once you get me your documentation, I can actually prove that what you tell me is real because I see your pay stubs, I see your W-2s. In some cases, I need tax returns. If you file a Schedule C or you have rental income or are self-employed, I may need your tax returns. But a lot of times it can be a pay stub and a W-2 and a bank statement. We have to be able to show proof of where the funds are coming from for closing. So that's real important because the seller needs to know that you can close. And if you've given me your documents in advance, I have the ability to run a full pre-approval. So pre-approval would be an actual underwriting approval that underwriters have actually looked at it. We also have something called automated underwriting, which most pre-qualification letters show. Once you've given it to me, the lender, the loan officer, I put the system into the information in the system. We run the automated underwriting approval. We get an approved eligible. I can pretty much bank that loan will be approved by the underwriter. So that's a full-blown pre-qualification. When it actually is submitted to the underwriter gives it their green approval, then it's a full loan approval.
And that's actually really powerful when we're negotiating to be able to say, the underwriter is seeing this, they are approved, and all we have to do is get the house approved.
Exactly.
It just makes the buyer's offer that much stronger. So
Yeah.
we're
And they can close faster.
Yes, exactly. So if they're in a hurry, that's actually the way to go, is to get some legwork done ahead of time. And we're heading into a market where it really is a seller's market.
Yes.
Like I had mentioned a little bit earlier, things are going very quickly. And so when people are out there and they're searching, they're saying, well, I can't, especially if they're coming in from out of town, they're like, everything that I liked is going away. And it's true.
And fast, yes.
Right. So there are some homes that sit out on the market. Usually they're less desirable for one reason or another. But the homes that are truly the best in buyers' minds are getting taken pretty quickly, getting purchased right away. So for a buyer, it's really important that you're really prepared, that we're diligent about seeing homes quickly. That's another thing that a really good buyer's agent will do with you, is to make sure that you see homes quickly. And in fact, I'm very good at that, but if I get to a point where, let's say I have an out-of-town buyer for a couple days and somebody wants to see a house, I actually have other agents in my office that I can ask for assistance. So I can guarantee that I'm able to help my clients no matter when they need me. So that's really important to be able to do that and to move forward in this market. For sellers, of course, it's a little bit of a dream market, but not completely. So buyers are still being really particular about what a house looks like, and the quality of it, how much has been updated, how recently.
Yes.
So if you're going to sell and you don't want to update things, you have to price it a little bit lower to match that. And if you want top dollar and you want it to sell quickly, what I recommend when I'm working with sellers is that we have everything done ahead of time. We do pre-inspections. We make sure the house is really in tip-top shape so that once we put it on the market, it feels like, wow, that was fast. Well, of course, because we did all the work ahead of time.
Right.
A big chunk of the marketing actually starts when we prepare the home for sale. We're preparing the product so that when it goes out, it's really great, and we do have multiple offers sometimes.
Right. And that's a really good feeling to be able to sit there and pick.
That's right.
Pick
That
which
is
offer.
the
But from the
perfect place
buyer's
to be.
perspective, it's not very comfortable.
Right, right. And so that's why having the strength of a good pre-approval behind you, it really is
Right.
powerful. So I am kind of curious from your standpoint, what are we looking at for rates for this year? Like, what are we expecting to happen?
Actually, we're expecting rates to remain low, constant. We don't expect the feds to lower rates again
Okay.
this year, but because our economy is doing well and it's a strong market, you know, jobs and everything are good, we expect rates to remain low. So, you know, we may see even a further scoop or drop, but bear in mind that the prices of homes are going up as well. So, you
Yeah.
know, all things are irrelevant. So it doesn't pay to wait because you're still going to get a great rate. And you know what? If it even goes down more, great. I'll refinance it for you and get you a lower rate. But buy the house while you can because they're appreciating at quite a fast rate. What did you say the average was for our market area?
You know, we're looking, I always try to be a little bit conservative. And so I'm seeing probably a 5%
Yeah.
over year, which means, you know, if you have a $200,000 house that you're interested in buying, next year it's going to be worth 210.
Yeah.
You know, so even with a low rate, you know, if you're willing
Yeah.
to pay that much,
Yeah.
go for it.
Yeah.
But a lot of people aren't. Sometimes it would be nice to maybe get into the house and start building an equity so that $10,000 is
Right.
yours
Exactly.
instead of you having to pay it.
Yeah, exactly. So there's really no better time than now. If you're ready, you should buy and just, you know, go out there and look and see what there is with Robin, and we'll get you the financing lined up, and hopefully you'll be a homeowner soon.
That's right.
Yeah. So call Robin or call myself, Sherrie, for the loan. Robin, what's the best way to reach you?
So my number will be at the bottom of this video, but
Okay.
it's you can call or text me 520-481-3695.
Right. And mine will also be on there, and it's 520-820-1332. And if you want to get a jump start on your loan, you can always go to Liebert.PRMG.net, and you can get that started. Okay.
Yeah, we'll put that on
We'll
too.
put it on the website, or we'll put it on the information.
Yeah.
Okay.